Hello everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying your Thursday afternoon. Today we're going to be looking at Winter Storm Henry, which is going to be bringing very heavy snowfall to some portions of the Northeast and Ohio Valley. Some places picking up closer to 6 inches of snow from this system, as well as a lot of rainfall and severe weather over parts of the Southeast. And we're going to be talking about both of these, but mainly focusing on the snowfall. We have covered the rainfall before, and the rainfall is currently ongoing, so it's not something that we're really forecasting. It's more of something that's happening right now. So I would really encourage people to check out their local National Weather Service, and then also turn on your local news station, turn on the Weather Channel, turn on any type of news outlet that you can tune into, and it'll tell you where these thunderstorms are lining up. So I can't really forecast for that, as that's more of a right now type of situation, and those aren't things that we can forecast. We can forecast things like snowfall, but really things like this where it's very isolated bands, stuff we can't forecast, longer range. So I would look at a news outlet and kind of listen in on that. That'll give you the best idea of what's going on in your area if you do live in the Southeast. Now we are starting off with the National Weather Service. Also, one thing I want to point out, or thank you guys for, is 200 subscribers. I'm really grateful for that, and thank you for all the support you've been showing me recently. So thank you to all of you who's been subscribing and showing your support on my videos. I really do appreciate it. Now, let's get into the National Weather Service. We have high wind watches scattered all across parts of the west, and in that golden shade, and that's over from Montana to Oregon, and then into northern California, as well as Nebraska and Wyoming. We also have winter storm warnings and some blizzard warnings in effect for parts of southern Wyoming, as well as a squall warning, a snow squall warning over parts of the northern part of Montana, and then avalanche warnings in effect for parts of western Montana. So if you are going skiing in that area, be aware. And as well, you have some winter weather advisories over north central parts of New Mexico, and flood watches, flood warnings, and even some severe thunderstorm warnings and flood warnings in effect, or flash flood warnings in effect. And that's all over the southeast, and that's where you're picking up closer to 4 inches of rainfall and continuous rainfall that's going on for about 24 hours in some locations. So a very big deal there. We don't have any winter weather alerts over the Northeast or the Great Lakes, but I am sure that at least some portions of the Northeast Ohio or Ohio Valley will be getting in on some of these winter weather alerts, as well probably winter weather advisories, and a couple scattered winter storm warnings, I'm assuming. Now, here is where your low pressure is currently set up. It is currently set up right over southern Oklahoma, northern Texas, right in this area. You have a cold front lining up with this system. You have a cold front right here, bringing slightly cooler temperatures. Not too big of a cold front. Temperatures are varying about 5 degrees on each side of the cold front. You'll see a little sample here: Missouri 52, Kansas 47. So about 5 degrees from if you're on the east side or the west side of the cold front, and that kind of drapes along down to the south. And then also you have another cold front here for Texas, with that secondary low pressure system over parts of Texas right here. And then you're seeing that warm front actually associated with most of the severe weather, really to the south of the severe weather, where you have that abundant moisture and warm air coming up from the Gulf. You're going to be seeing that severe weather. So this is one of the National Weather Service products. They do this every 3 hours. They update this every 3 hours. So this is the latest one, and it is very useful. Found it a couple days ago, and I wanted to use it just for some of these systems. It kind of gives you a good idea of what's happening in the atmosphere. So here is the Storm Prediction Center currently, and this is your categorical outlook. You have a slight risk, or a marginal risk in this green, and a slight risk over Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama in the yellow. Now, a tornado risk, you have about a 5% risk, which is pretty high actually, assuming that it is the early part of January, so it is very late to be seeing tornadoes, and especially a 5% risk is pretty high for this time of year. Wind, you see in this yellow, you're about 15% chance of seeing some wind damage, and that's over Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama again. And hail, not too much hail threat here, if any. maybe some pea-sized hail associated with this, and it says less than 5% in all areas. And usually the Storm Prediction Center are pretty good with this type of forecasting. They do specialize in it, of course. So we are going to be looking at the European model currently, and this is the precipitation type, and you see this is over the next 12 hours. You're seeing some rainfall in effect for parts of the southeast, and this is going to be for tonight. So now going into tomorrow morning for your morning commute, rainfall starting to head into the northeast according to the European model, and the European model is kind of flip-flopping. I really don't know what's going on with the European model today. Actually, the last one, which I'll show you the snowfall totals for that. I won't show you the actual simulated radar, but it did show a lot of snowfall actually over from Boston to Washington D.C. A lot of snowfall was occurring there. So and now in this run, it's shown close to nothing over those areas. So the Europeans kind of acting out a little bit, but hopefully we do get a little bit of agreeing with the model as we get closer to this event, and we're only about 48 hours out from this, so we should be getting some pretty good model agreement within the coming future. You see, we have this northern piece of the jet stream coming down here from Canada, this northern piece coming up with this southern piece, and when you get this, you have your cold air coming down from Canada. I'll do this in blue. You have this cold air coming down from Canada, and you have this warm, moist air coming up from parts of the south, and this is going to be mixing right in somewhere in the northeast, and that's where you get your snowfall, and that's where you get your heavy snowfall when these two areas of different temperatures and then also different levels of moisture in the atmosphere. When they mix, you get snowfall and you get heavy snowfall at that. But we haven't seen that happen too much this winter, and I do think this is going to be happening more often. If you do look a little bit longer out in the models, they do show that a lot with these systems. They do bring a lot of systems that combine the northern and southern jet a lot. Now, we continue this into Saturday morning, still seeing rain, some snow changing over in the Great Lakes, according to the European, and then over northern New England, starting to see a changeover as we get to Sunday. Now, Sunday's going to be the big day. You're probably over the coastal northeast if you do live there, or even if you live slightly interior, you still have to watch out because this system, by time it's Saturday night into Sunday, the first half of the day, that's when you have that big threat for your snowfall. And that's when the real big changes are happening in the models between that time period, where some models are bringing a coastal low pressure just far enough where you get a lot of snow to the I-95 corridor. Other models like the GFS are bringing this way to the north and bring snowfall further to the north, closer to the Canadian border. So a big change in what the models are showing here. Now, this will be for Sunday morning on the European model, light snowfall, nothing that's going to be too significant, and then it's all out of here by about Sunday afternoon and later in the evening. And then I do want to tell you that there will be this northern system that most likely will bring some snow showers to the parts of the northeast after this event. So that's not Winter Storm Henry, that's just some random other system. It's just a small little system bringing down some moisture with it, just a couple of snowflakes with that, and more intense as you get closer to the lakes. Now, here's your total snowfall from the European model, and you see, not too impressive. Even once you get further north into northern New England and into upstate New York, you're only seeing about 2 to 5 inches of snowfall at best. Some areas picking up 5 inches of snowfall. Now, here is the last run of the European model, and it is way different. Now, this is what I was talking about. 6 inches coming in here for a lot of these areas, stretching from really Erie, Pennsylvania, all the way through into Nantucket. So this big area right here gonna be looks to be seeing about 6 inches, according to this run of the European, and then it quickly flipped back to its other solution, and now it's more of a weaker solution, according to the European. And I did look at the precipitation type for this, and it did have this low pressure that was kind of well off here, and I was able to bring in these bands of snowfall coming back and around over parts of the coastal northeast. So that's what brought all this heavy snowfall. I don't expect this to happen, and actually I do have my forecast at the end of the video. Now, here is the European and Samba models, and this is more of an averaged out through about 40 models, and you see 2 to 3 inches generally really over the northern New England area. So it does have more certainty as you get into the Appalachians and also into northern New England. Here is the GFS model, and you're saying it is showing about very far north, and it's showing about 3 to 6 inches with isolated 10 to 12 inch amounts. Now here's what the National Weather Service is showing, and you're seeing about 1 to 4 inches of snowfall here from the National Weather Service. So not too impressive as far as what the National Weather Service is showing. So now I am gonna show you my personal forecast here, and this is gonna include my snowfall forecast and then also my also severe weather forecast here. So here is my forecast, and here. Let's go back here. This is my severe weather outlook here, and this I'm not affiliated with the National Weather Service. I just use their same kind of system of thunderstorm into marginal and into slight, enhanced, and moderate and high risk. I just used that same style, but I do not really look at theirs too much. I just look at the models, kind of get my general idea, and mine are different than theirs. So I do have a thunderstorm risk here from Texas all the way through into the Mid-Atlantic. As we add our next layer here, and this is also just for today, we have a marginal risk here for the southeast and the south central U.S. from Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, even parts of the Panhandle, Florida, and into southernmost Tennessee. A slight risk here, really just inside of that marginal risk area, where you are going to have heightened risks of severe weather, and mostly it's going to be flash flooding once you get further north. And in this enhanced risk, I did add this, but this is mainly just because you are going to have a lot of flooding, and that's why I added that enhanced risks. And the National Weather Service doesn't put that there, but I just feel like I need to kind of point out that there is going to be enhanced risks there for severe weather in the form of flooding. Now, here's my snowfall and rainfall forecast, and I hand-drawn this. This is my forecast, not anybody else's forecast, by the way. Now, this is going from tomorrow all the way until the 6th, which would be Sunday. Actually, it would be Monday. Sorry about that. Now, here's my low-pressure storm track, and you're seeing over southern Oklahoma is where the system is currently at, and I think it's going to travel through the Tennessee and Ohio Valley and then up through into parts of the Mid-Atlantic. Here are all the layers added on, snowfall and rainfall here, and you're seeing under an inch of rainfall in this lightest green shade, so nothing too impactful here. 1 to 2 inches of rainfall from parts of the southeast into the Mid-Atlantic, and that's for a lot of these portions from Louisiana all the way through into coastal Maryland and Delaware as well. And then you have 2 to 3 inch in this darker green. That's going to be over Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. And then a 3 to 5 inch layer actually over parts of Mississippi and into Alabama. Here is the snowfall. We have a coating to an inch here over parts, anyone in this light blue. That's stretching from parts of the northern United States from Montana, the Dakotas, Minnesota, southward through the Great Lakes and into parts of the Northeast. And then we have a 1 to 3 inch area, a little stripe here from really southern North Dakota into Minneapolis, and then we have another area for the parts of the Appalachian Mountains, and then also for parts of upstate New York through Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, 1 to 3 inches there. And then we are going to be seeing most likely 3 to 6 inches from coastal Maine through central parts of New Hampshire and Vermont, and the northern parts of upstate New York. Now, I do hope that you did enjoy that video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications if you did enjoy the video. I spent lots of time making this video, and I really appreciate if you do show your support. And also, if you have any questions, please comment them down below. I will be answering all comments relating to this system. Now, that was Eli the Weather Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.